Pancho Villa. His name conjures images of a bold, dangerous man, a leader, and a rebel. He's remembered in history as a hero in Mexico, but in the United States, his name struck fear into the heart of the American government. Villa became one of the most wanted men in America, but few today truly know the story of this elusive revolutionary. Who was Pancho Villa, and why was he considered the most dangerous man in America? Born as Doroteo Arango in 1878 in the state of Durango, Mexico, Pancho Villa's early life was one of hardship. His family was poor, and from a young age, he witnessed the struggles of the peasantry under oppressive landowners. After a violent encounter in which Villa killed a wealthy man who allegedly assaulted his sister, he fled into the mountains, becoming an outlaw. From an outlaw to a revolutionary, Villa's transformation began when he aligned himself with Mexico's rising revolution. The Mexican Revolution of 1910, which sought to overthrow the dictatorship of Porfirio Diaz, provided Villa an opportunity to channel his energy and leadership into something greater, fighting for the rights of the poor. Under the banner of revolution, Villa became one of the most charismatic and influential military leaders in Mexico. Villa's charisma attracted thousands to his cause, and by 1913 he commanded the División del Norte, the Northern Division, a fearsome force that struck terror into both Mexican elites and foreign powers. Villa's fame spread far and wide, so much so that even Hollywood would later invite him to film some of his battles. But it was his growing power and unpredictable nature that soon attracted the attention of the United States. At first, Villa was seen as an ally by the United States. The revolution had several factions, and Villa seemed like a powerful leader to support. The U.S. even supplied him with arms to fight his enemies. But as the revolution grew more complex, relationships frayed. Villa's enemies, namely Venustiano Carranza, gained the backing of the U.S. government, and Villa felt betrayed. This betrayal lit a fire in Pancho Villa. In 1916, he took a bold and unprecedented step that would put him on a collision course with the United States. Villa led a raid across the border into the town of Columbus, New Mexico, killing 18 Americans and burning parts of the town to the ground. It was the first time a foreign military leader had invaded U.S. soil since 1812. The attack shocked the United States. Pancho Villa had become more than just a rebel. He was now a direct threat to American interests. President Woodrow Wilson had no choice but to act. He ordered a massive military expedition, known as the Punitive Expedition, to track down and capture Villa. Led by General John J. Pershing, thousands of U.S. troops marched into Mexico in 1916 in search of Villa. But this was no ordinary pursuit. Villa, familiar with the terrain and supported by local sympathizers, proved nearly impossible to catch. For over a year, U.S. forces scoured the desert mountains and valleys, only to come up empty-handed. Villa's mastery of guerrilla warfare left the Americans frustrated and empty-handed. General Pershing never captured Villa. The punitive expedition was called off, and Villa's legend as an untouchable outlaw only grew. He had embarrassed the American military on the world stage, but it wasn't just his military prowess that made him dangerous. What made Pancho Villa truly dangerous wasn't just his ability to evade capture, it was his cause. Villa wasn't just fighting for personal glory, he was fighting for the disenfranchised, the oppressed, and the poor. His call for land reform and justice for the common people resonated deeply across Mexico and beyond. To the American government, his ideals represented a threat to the status quo. Villa symbolized revolution, upheaval, and the power of the people. Despite his violent methods, Villa's popularity among the peasantry made him a figurehead of resistance. For many in the U.S. government, this was a man who could inspire rebellion, not just in Mexico, but anywhere injustice prevailed. By the 1920s, the Mexican Revolution was winding down, and Villa retired from public life. He negotiated peace with the Mexican government, settling in a hacienda in Parral. But even in retirement, Villa was still a target. On July 20th, 1923, while driving his car, Villa was ambushed and assassinated, shot to death by a group of gunmen. His death remains shrouded in mystery, with speculation that political rivals or the government orchestrated the assassination. Pancho Villa died as he lived, violently, and in the shadows of controversy. But his impact lived on. Villa remains a symbol of resistance and revolution, a man who took on the might of the U.S. military and evaded capture. Pancho Villa, a hero to some, a villain to others, but undeniably one of the most dangerous men in American history. A man you've likely never heard of, but whose actions left an indelible mark on both Mexico and the United States. His story is a reminder that history is shaped by those bold enough to challenge power, even when the odds are against them. Thank you for watching this episode of Deep Fact. Don't forget to like, subscribe, and hit that notification bell for more incredible stories from history that you may not know, but should.